Hi, everyone, and welcome to 7 Strategies to Make Smarter and Faster Decisions. I'm Tracy Huff, and I am the owner and chief instructor of Family Martial Arts Academy. There we go. All right, there are my pictures. And so, those of you who know me know these things about me, but those of you may not know. So, I am the chief instructor of Family Martial Arts Academy, and I am also a wife of almost 30 years. We're like 29. We're close. And I'm the mother of 2 grown sons, and I'm the Mimi of 2 amazing grandsons, sons being the all about in our family. I'm also a business owner. I'm a martial artist. I'm a 4th degree black belt in Tang Soo Do, and I'm an instructor. And these are just all of the things that I am and I get to do, and I love what I do. And one of the reasons I love what I do is because I get to use martial arts as a tool to help us develop ourselves as people. That's what we're doing here today. So, why this ebook? Why this course? So, if you are struggling with making timely and effective decisions, or if you're just looking for some strategies to boost and optimize your decision making capabilities, these techniques are going to really help you do that. Now, I know that for me, there's just so much uncertainty going on right now with COVID, and everyone's having trouble making decisions, right? I mean, I'm in North Carolina, and I know for our parents and for our school age kids, it was up until the last minute where no one knew what was going on for school, and everything felt so last minute, and you couldn't make plans because they hadn't made plans. So this isn't just an individual problem. This is a problem that's going on for a lot of us right now. So that's why I decided to do this. I had to do it for myself too, because school couldn't plan. So I couldn't plan back to school. I couldn't plan my promotions. I couldn't take what I did last year and do it this year because it doesn't make sense to do it this year. So in this book, we're going to just remind you that all of the decisions that you make are shaping the reality that you have right now. And that you're making decisions every day, and some are small and some are big, and then some are really big, right? So right now we have to decide how to separate our house to do virtual learning, but we also have to decide, are we going to telework? Are we going to maybe not work? Are we going to look at our livelihoods? And then for me as a business owner, I have to do a real big decision, and I have to look at my business and see, how to keep my business viable and keep making decisions that will set me up for success for when we get out of these phases and everyone can come back together again. But also to know that anybody who's struggling with making timely and effective decisions, it's not a flaw. It's just you need better tools, right? You need better tools to understand what's stopping you and then what steps to take to start making them. So that's what we're going to talk about. So first, you've got to understand the root causes. Like, why are you having a hard time making decisions? So usually your reasons that cause indecisions, that procrastination, or just waiting to the last minute to make decisions. So you've got lack of confidence. So negative self-talk is the biggest one when it comes to this, right? So if you are finding yourself being very negative with yourself, and we're always our own worst enemy anyway, but when you start talking that way to yourself, it is totally going to eat away at your confidence, and you're going to start second guessing yourself. And so just recognize that taking too long can be harmful, right? On some things it's not, but you might miss opportunities if you wait too long. As a business owner, that's one of my biggest concerns. Like, if I don't decide to take some action, I might miss out on something. So how can you combat that? So if you are an affirmation person, then take the one thing that you say the most to yourself and turn that into something positive, right? So take your positive affirmation, make it relevant to you. So for an example of that, it just depends on how, the conversations you have with yourself. So if you find yourself saying, I really totally suck at this, then just flip it around and say, I am amazing at blah. You know, I always use this example with my students when I was first training and I was struggling with a back kick. Like back kick, I don't know why the struggle is real for everyone, but when I struggled with a back kick, I would do my kicks like back kick, spin, any spinning kick. They always were just like, ugh, the bane of my existence. But I told my students I would practice them and then I would stop and I would say my positive affirmation instead of saying, oh my God, that was horrible, or that stunk, or that looks sucky. I would say, I am a leaf on the wind. I move with precision, accuracy, and speed. And then I would do it again. And they would do it again. So I could kind of erase how I was feeling about it. And eventually, over time, that's exactly what they became. Okay. But you can also, if you don't like the affirmation thing, or that's not a route that you want to go, then that's okay. Find something to do that's going to build your confidence. And this is going to change depending on what kind of person you are, right? So it could be doing something that scares you, or it could just be like looking at something, maybe a goal that you've had or something that you've wanted to get done, that you haven't done already in COVID, right? If you haven't done already in COVID, then do take some action towards getting that done. And just one action, and you're going to feel better. All right. And then do the next thing, and then the next thing. So that's two ways that you can combat that lack of confidence. Now, another root cause for like not making decisions is if it conflicts with your personal values. So it's a choice that's going to conflict with your morals, your faith, or your personal ethic. Now, you may have to reevaluate those, but most of us intuitively or instinctually know what those are. And so you can always feel something that's going against it because it doesn't sit right with you. And the only reasons you're thinking about making a choice that does conflict with your personal values is for maybe some reasons, some financial reasons, or some time reasons, or just because it's easier reason. But you need to get in line with what you value and make a decision based on that. And this one should be a quick one. Like, you should trust yourself and always side with what you feel is the right thing to do. Okay? All right. So another reason that it is hard to make a decision is maybe you don't have enough information. Like, this is what we were all going through in back to school time, because what were the classes going to be? Were they going to be virtual? Were they going to be in person? Were they going to be hybrid? Were they going to be morning? Were they going to be all day? Were the parents going to stay at home? Were they going to have to come home from work early? Are we going to have to find a sitter? There was just too much that we didn't know. Okay? There was too much that we didn't know. And so in this situation, the sooner you make a decision, the better. Okay? So you just have to go with the information that you have and base it on what you have. So this is where we're at right now. We think it's going to be X. I'm going to do Y. And then also be resourceful and work with what you have. Okay. If you know what we're working with, then take the resources that you have and see asking how questions. How can I get this done? How can I do this when I only have these things? Are going to give you better answers to the problem. So it's going to, if you say, why is this happening to me? We kind of get into our whiny sniveling corner stage. But if you say, how can I make this work for me? Or how can I make this work for my family? You're going to see some options that you wouldn't have seen otherwise. Okay. And then on the other end of that spectrum, you've got maybe too much information. And then you go into information overload and you get pulled into the minute details that may not be relevant to the outcome that you want to achieve. Okay. So the solution to this is what we're going to go over further in this presentation is you just need a system to deal with information overload, right? And the other thing you can do is if you feel like you have too much information, get very, very clear on what outcome you want. And then you can go, what information do I need to achieve this outcome? Okay? All right. Then you have no idea what the outcome is going to be, that you're taking a risk and you're afraid. Okay. And this is normally with like a really big decision. Should I quit my job? Should I, start a business? Should I close my business? Should I change my business something online? You have no idea how it's going to work. The solution for this, when you don't know, is you have to embrace the unknown, right? Success isn't going to come without risk, but you have to learn how to step into that and know that failure is part of success. Like, failing is not fatal. Failing is just another learning opportunity. And that's what we have to start embracing. Okay. And then also another reason that people don't want to make decisions is you've got lose-lose. So in this instance, the outcome is going to be negative no matter how much you delay or reassess, right? So if there is a lose-lose situation, then you're just going to have to rip off the Band-Aid and take action faster. Delaying is usually going to compound the negative impact. So acknowledge it's a lose-lose, explore all your opportunities, make sure that it is definitely a lose-lose. You can't find a win-win, and then just take that action sooner to start moving forward. Okay? Now, there's also decision fatigue. And decision fatigue is when you're just taking too much time, where you're just thinking and you're pondering, and then you're trying to figure out every possible outcome, and then you're trying to see all the pros and cons of all of these options, and it's totally going to drain your energy and focus. So again, it's going to go back to the system that you use to handle decisions to avoid this overwhelm, right? Because it kind of overlaps with embracing the risk. But decision fatigue, you're going to have that process so that when you're making this decision and you find yourself pondering and overthinking, these are the steps that you're going to do. And we're going to go over those in a minute. And then last, and this is the one that we're kind of in right now, fast-paced change. Everything is changing so fast, and that you're afraid that things are going to change too fast. Either you're going to miss it, or you're going to be at the tail end of it, or you're going to start too late. And again, this is where you're going to have to embrace fear and embrace the unknown and develop that mindset that says failure is not fatal, and if it doesn't work, you've got other options. It's not a big deal. You're going to have to just know if it doesn't work, you have to try something else. All right. So those are all of the reasons that we get stuck. Now, I know I was facing lack of information was the big one with school, and then lack of information because we're waiting on government agencies to kind of tell us what we can or cannot do in our business. And so those were the things that I was struggling with. And I had to come back and master my mindset, right? I had to start asking myself better questions. I had to start evaluating the situation from a completely different place. And I know it's easier said than done, but it is key and integral to what you need to do to move forward. So getting in the right mind, you've got to say, okay, what can I control? What about this can I control? Okay, I can choose. What can I choose to do? And what can I control about this situation? Then embracing the unknown, understanding that we don't know what's going to happen another 30 days from now. For me with COVID and my business, we're in phase 2.5. Is Governor Cooper going to do a phase 2.75? I don't know. Are we going to get to phase 3 before the end of the year? I don't know. And even if we do, my students going to want to come back into my school? Are they going to feel comfortable? I have no idea what that's going to be, but I can only control what I can control. And so I can take action and take steps and adjust my schedule, adjust my training, adjust my lesson plans, address the issues that are concerning my parents, like with these decisions. Okay. And then minimalism and simplicity, that's easier said than done for sure. But it goes back to that, just keeping it simple, doing the simplest, most effective thing that you can do right now. And it's hard for some, easier for others, but just kind of looking and seeing how can you simplify the tasks and the things that you have to decide. Like, what can you break it down into the simplest component, and how can you achieve that now with what you have? And the other part of getting in the right mind is mindfulness. And this is a big one. We can't borrow tomorrow's trouble. Like, we can only be in today. So taking time to be more present in the moments that we're in. I know that for me, I've found that I have allowed COVID to suck the fun out of things that I used to enjoy and have so much fun with. I've allowed that pressure to weigh on me, and I haven't been taking all of the enjoyment out of the things that I love like I used to. So for me in this step, mindfulness is remembering to do that in my moment, to not worry about the students that haven't felt comfortable enough to come back in, but to truly enjoy the students that have. To not be upset that my students, my virtual students, aren't with me, but just have fun with them in the virtual environment. So these are the ways that I've added mindfulness to what I've been doing in that moment, and making the lesson plans fun. It's challenging, but it can also be liberating. And then again, we've said it, you've got to accept the possibility of failure and know that the most successful people fail more. That failure is a way of learning what works and what doesn't work. It doesn't have anything to do with you being not capable, you not having talent, you not having the ability to get this done. It just means that method did not work for you. And we have to start readjusting our mindset about failure and being able to get back up faster, dust ourselves off, take a deep breath, and then go back to the step one. Control what you can control. Analyze it without emotion. What worked, what didn't work. Keeping it simple, being in the moment, turning it into, making sure you're enjoying what you're doing. All those things, it's a cycle. Okay. So getting your mindset clear, taking these steps is truly going to help. All right. And so next we've got 7 strategies for you to apply to the decisions that you're doing. All right. So these 7 strategies are going to apply to the decisions that you have to make. And let's just go through them. Okay. So they're very simple and straightforward. Number 1, learn to recognize patterns. So what does that mean? So we all have patterns that we set up, right? So some of us, we're doing something that's successful and we're making all these great decisions, and then everything's working really well and it scares the crap out of us, and then we come back and we stop doing what we were doing, right? So make sure you're learning to recognize patterns of your behavior that are starting or stopping you. All right? So strategy number 2, give yourself a time limit. I mentioned this on Monday to my coach, that I have a designated sniveling chair. I haven't had to use it in a really, really long time, but I told you guys I've been struggling with this COVID stuff. So setting a time limit. Now the time limit for the sniveling chair is 15 minutes. So for me, I set a time limit to snivel, and then I set a time limit to make a decision. So sometimes you need both. Sometimes you got to just get it all out, like whine, like, your 2-year-old or your 3-year-old, and just rail against whatever. Get it all out. Get out of the sniveling chair. Move over to the desk or the table or wherever you're working, and give yourself another 15 minutes and come up with solutions. Okay. Now, number 3 is really for those of you that are really struggling with making any decisions. Like if you find yourself totally not capable of making a decision, then that's really what number 3 is. So you're going to have to build that habit. You're going to have to give yourself a daily quota of decisions that you have to make. So of course, we're not talking about lunch, and we're not talking about what to wear to work, right? Those are things that you should be able to take care of. We're talking about making some of the bigger decisions, and setting yourself a daily quota for those, instead of doing, like, going back to number 1, if you recognize you have a pattern of procrastination, a pattern of putting things off, then note what those are, and then add those decisions to your daily quota, and make sure that you make those decisions by the end of the day. Okay. Now, another strategy that can help you make a decision is recognizing whether the decision can be reversed. So sometimes we get in analysis paralysis, and we're just like going around and around and around and around. But if you say, what's the worst that could happen? Can I take this decision back? Then if that's the case, then boom, say ABC, make a decision and go from there and see what happens. Now, some decisions cannot be reversed, like choosing to start a family. choosing to have a baby. Like once you're pregnant, you can't get unpregnant, right? You can't undo some things. But if it can be reversed, then let that be something that gives you relief and lets you release and make that decision. And then number 5 is be crystal clear on your ultimate objective. Okay, so for me, going to my ultimate objective, of course, I'm a business person, and those of you who know me know I've got like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But my ultimate objective is to serve our community. Now, I choose martial arts as my tool to build confidence and leadership and mindset and to develop and to help sportsmanship and respect. So like so martial arts is my tool. So my ultimate objective is to keep providing that value whether my students are coming in or not. So that's helped me make decisions that I had to make. And that helped me see opportunities and ways I could deliver my service differently than I had been delivering them before. So knowing your ultimate objective is going to clear your head and give you a chance to see different options. And then number 6, put it in perspective. That is always, perspective is key. So putting it in perspective means, is this the end all be all? Is this really going to be horrible? Like if I do this thing, is it going to be horrible? Is it going to be life ending? Am I going to never recover? Or is it just going to be something I try and I may or may not get results? So I had to do that. We had 2 events on the schedule in September. I was so excited about them. I was like, okay, I did all this stuff. I did all this work in August. And I said, okay, we're setting events for September. I don't know where we're going to be. I'm going to set these events. And we did, one was a gun self-defense seminar. We were going to do some gun self-defense. And then 2 was something I was so excited about, karate therapy, like working with therapists in town and working with the physical and the mental aspect and teaching kids how to deal with their emotions and name them and expel them. And I was so excited. And then I was so disappointed because I had to cancel both. Because we didn't have enough participants for the guns event seminar, and we had 0 students be interested in the karate therapy seminar. And I was so upset. And so where did my mind go? Back to, negative self-talk. I put all, like, you didn't market it, or you didn't. But I had to put it in perspective. People still aren't comfortable. People still aren't sure of what's going on. And so putting that in perspective, I said, okay, well, we're going to try it again. So I contacted both of my partners in those events, and we're going to reschedule them. So it's not is it fatal? No. Are we still going to do it? Yes. All right. So we've rescheduled the karate therapy event for October 3rd, and then the gun defense seminar we're going to do before Christmas, right? We're not, when I put it in perspective, was it fatal? No. We can get it done. And then the 7th strategy is thinking in black and white. And that goes back to that keeping it really simple. Just do your pro and cons list. If I do this, what are all the good things? What are all the bad things? The good things outweigh the bad things. Boom, I'm going with the good things. Or the bad things outweigh the good things. I'm not going to go with that decision. Just take it down and break it down to its simplest terms. Try and pull out the emotion from the decision and then go from there. All right? So, pretty easy, right? Sometimes the most effective solutions are the simplest ones. Now, you don't have to do all of these strategies, right? Because it depends on what's stopping you, going back to the root causes of the decisions. It depends on what's stopping you from making the decision to see what strategy you need to implement, okay? But you've got a set of strategies here, and I would just recommend that you pick one to do and use it for some decisions that you need to make. And then when you're ready, then go and you can have another strategy to implement. Just know that different decisions are going to require different strategies, and it's not like you have to do all 7 every day, all the time. It's not a bunch of work. It's not a lot of time, okay? This is just some simple, straightforward things that you can do. Now, some other simple things that you can do, some brain hacks, right? So that will help you in your decision-making process. And we said them, and I know that they've been said a lot during the pandemic and our COVID crisis, but I'm still going to repeat them anyway because we still, as adults, sometimes don't hear, or we just don't think they're important, but they are. So, taking care of yourself matters, okay? Taking care of yourself matters. So these are just some things to take care of yourself. So drink 2 glasses of water first thing in the morning. Most of us always underhydrated. So if you get up after sleeping and drink your water when you get up, you're going to feel the difference. All right. Second, go get some sun. We're stuck in the house. And I know I did this the other day. And so today, as a matter of fact, I made a change. I was working in my office, and I didn't have to leave until it was time to do class at night. And I walked out in the evening. I was like, oh my God, it was such a beautiful day. And I had not spent any time outside to enjoy it. So today, the Zoom calls that I did my Zoom calls on my phone outside in the backyard. Did I still get my Zoom calls done? Yeah, I got to enjoy the beautiful afternoon while I got some work done, okay? Eat plenty of fish, right? That's a pretty simple, straightforward one. Plenty of fish. It's good for you. It's got your omegas in there. It's going to help your brain. It's going to help you think better. All right. Take a short nap or meditate, right? So you can do a little siesta, or you can do a meditation. I know Brendon Burchard has, you can go on YouTube and look for Brendon Burchard's meditation. Mind Valley has a really good meditation that's short. I'm talking like 20 minutes, right? But taking that time to pull out and reset actually is just as effective as sleeping. So, and I know some people are like, I fall asleep when I meditate. Okay, as long as you wake up when the timer goes off, you're good to go. All right. And then challenge yourself with some brain puzzles, some logic puzzles, and make it a game. I mean, even if it's just getting a puzzle with your kids and doing a puzzle. I think Five Below, and I'm not sure that they still have them, but they used to have like 3 packs of puzzles for like $5, and you can get some simple ones and you get some complicated ones, and it's just accessing your skills at a different level and doing something with the family and having fun, and again trying to infuse some of the things that we've forgotten to do in our everyday. And then number 6, obvious one, cut down on your sugar. The book goes into more detail on why you need to do it, but I know that from my studies, when my husband found out he had diabetes, I did a big research on like all the ways that we can cut sugar in our diet. And then the biggest thing is that sugar has crept into almost every single thing that we eat that it didn't used to. So, I mean, just by eating as close to natural as you can is going to cut down on sugar. And I'm a cake person, I get it, but making dessert something natural also is going to help you cut down on sugar, on processed sugar, not natural sugar. And then last but not least, enjoy time in nature. Just get the sun on your face, smell the spring air, or like even like this week, I think for us, listen to the rain. Find a spot where you can just sit and relax and take some time to do that. And it doesn't have to be a lot of time. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but just start to do it so that we don't get sucked into the house this whole time. Especially right now, like we're in North Carolina. So especially right now, our weather is just so beautiful right now that there's no reason not to. Okay. So I hope that this was helpful. And if you want the complete book, you can go to that link right there and click on it, and you can download the PDF, and it's just going to give you a reference to everything that we went over today, and give you a little bit more detail for you, and let you get started, tackling some of these decisions that you need to make. All right. So you can go there, and if you enjoyed this and you found this helpful, then we have a bunch of free resources in our FMAA University, and we've got free master classes. So this will be posted up there. We've got personal development topics, stress and overwhelm, parenting hacks, things on leadership, and more. Now you will have to register to get access, but you just give us an email and give us your email address and create your account, and you're good to go. And I usually upload new things to that every month. And honestly, I just take what I've been working through and I turn it into something, because I feel like if I'm working through it, I know I can't be alone. Everybody else is probably working through it too. And I try to come up with some tools to help you guys as parents and women and mimis and business owners and adults, of kids, or just whatever we're working on. So it's free. I put new content up there all the time, and I hope that you enjoy it. If you haven't, you'll also see these when I put these resources out. I also do Facebook posts, so you can like us on Facebook, or you can follow us on YouTube and Instagram. And I am excited to hear about how this presentation has helped you. So let me know. Let me know how it's helped. Let me know what's going on, and look more for some presentations, because we're going to do Worry-Free Wednesdays, and we're going to do Fearless Fridays, and we're going to do Motivation Mondays, and we're going to help each other get through this. We're going to all get through this together, and we're going to help each other get through this time stronger and better and smarter and more effective than ever before. Okay, so I look forward to hearing from you guys, and I will see you next time.